Good evening. Good evening. There we go. The little live thing's up. So we are live. How are you this evening? I hope you are really well. I don't know what the weather's doing. Excuse me, that's a yawn coming on. Honestly, my lack of sleep at the minute is just ridiculous. And it's down to my Labrador. Most of you know I've got a 15-year-old black Labrador called Jet. We thought we were going to lose him a few weeks ago, and he's still here. He's still ticking on, but he's fully incontinent now. So he's in diapers. And honestly, I know you don't want to hear this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Changing a 35-kilo black Labrador is not as easy as changing a baby. So I am back to being baby mama to a big, heavy, hairy thing who sometimes needs changing at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I've forgotten what it's like to have sleepless nights, and it's not that pleasant, especially when you've got really busy days. Monday and Tuesday are my busiest days. Anyway, you don't want to know all of that, I'm sure, but I'm telling you anyway, because that's why I look like I do. Anyway, how are you this evening? And tonight I am going to be talking to you all about how we can challenge ourselves more as entrepreneurs. Now, I did speak about that in my group this morning very briefly, and I'm going to talk about it in more depth tonight and how important it is for us to be able to develop the skills and growth that allows us to self-challenge as entrepreneurs, because it can be one of the loneliest jobs on earth. So, for those of you that don't know me, I am Mandy Nicholson, and I am the Creative Genius Consultant. I'm an artist and I'm an author, and I help creative women to launch, grow, and scale their businesses and make more money. And when I'm talking to creative business owners, it's very different to talking to some of the high-flying entrepreneurs that I have in my network who are making millions, who are linear thinkers, who can just systemize and put processes in place and churn money out. And that's a very different persona than the ladies that I work with on a regular basis. But there's room for all of us. And one of the things that I see a lot in the clients that I work with and in the networks that I have with the creative women entrepreneurs is this, I'm not even going to say lack, because it's not a lack. The skills are there. They are just not used to using them. The skills that need developing, I suppose, around leadership and self-leadership and self-management. Because it really is a skill, and it's a learned skill. Once you learn to challenge yourself more, the results are evident on your bottom line, on your sales line, and on your bottom line. And it makes a massive difference to your business. So last week I spoke about sales and just getting some basic things in place around sales to help you get more visible and to get some habits in place. This week I want to speak to you about this challenging yourself, and I'm going to do it through a process of questions. Because if I was coaching you, if I was working with you as a business coach one-to-one, I would be asking you questions. Questions come up in my group, in my creative mastermind, through my group calls, and we deal with them as they come up. And it's a warm community. So people feel challenged and they feel like they are bringing their issues to the table. But when you're on your own and you don't have that backup community, or you don't have leadership skills or leadership experience or management experience, it can be really difficult to keep steering in the right direction and to keep going and to keep looking for the next thing. What happens is we tend to stagnate. So when we are not challenged or challenging ourselves, we stagnate. I think if you think of yourself in a work environment, you'll be having performance reviews. If you're in any sort of position, even if you're not in a management position, you're going to be having performance reviews, regular appraisals, somebody pushing you forward a little bit and challenging you all the time. So you go into business and you think it's going to be all great, but nobody is there at your back challenging you, pushing you, trying to make you better. That's your job. That's your job as the CEO, but you end up as the chief everything officer, not necessarily the chief executive officer, because there's a big gap between doing all the things and leading all the things. So tonight, I just want to give you some top tips, I suppose, and some good questions to ask yourself to help you to be able to challenge yourself. Because as an entrepreneur, that's what you need to do. So I asked a question in my group yesterday morning, and we have a Monday goals post every Monday morning. And I asked the question, what would you say was your biggest challenge when it comes to earning the income that you want? What's your biggest challenge when it comes to living the life of your dreams? Or overcoming your current situation, your blocks and your barriers, or making change happen now? So I asked that question in my group yesterday morning, because this is a question you can ask yourself, but it's not something that you would be asked. So what is stopping you? What is the biggest challenge when it comes to earning the income you want right now? When was the last time you sat down and asked yourself that question? What's my biggest challenge in earning the income that I want? So I'm going to go into first person now as we speak, as I talk you through some of these questions. I do have a handout. If anybody happens to want the questions, I do have a handout. I use this when I am asking questions of my clients, but I also use it when I'm asking questions of myself, because I lead myself. So a very common question that I ask myself is, where am I going to be in 12 months' time? Where do I want to be in 12 months' time? Start of every year, I ask that. Every quarter, I review that. What does it look like? Where am I going to be 12 months from now? Because that's about creating vision and moving forward. And if you're not asking that question on a regular basis, consistently, habitually, then how can you move forward? So there are several questions that you can ask yourself on a regular basis that will help you delve deep into your own business. And if you feel like you're stagnant and your sales line is not moving, and that you are not tackling some of the things you know exist within your business, some of these questions will help you to move some of those barriers or think more deeply. And that's what is important, isn't it, when you're in business? So what is not working for me right now? This is a great question. What is not working for me right now? So you may have some things that are working. It's good to ask what is working, but what is not working? Do you have a product or service that is not selling at the rate that you would like it to? Do you have a product or service that is not selling? So what is not working for you in your business? Do you feel like you're spending too much time on social media and not enough time doing what you want to do? What is it that's not working for you in your business right now? Once you start to answer that question, it's like opening a Pandora's box of amazing responses that can help you change direction in your business. So how is it impacting me? This thing that's not working, how is it impacting me in my business? How do I feel? Because how you feel is important as how your business operation is going. So whatever it is that is not working for me, how is it making me feel in my business? Is it making me feel fearful? Is it impacting my self-worth, my self-esteem? Is it making me feel like giving up? Is it making me feel demotivated? Because if it is, I'm going to take a really big guess now that if you're feeling any of those things, you'll be avoiding doing some of the things that you need to do in your business to make more sales, because they're the difficult things, not the easy things. So you'll be avoiding them. What that does, it puts you into avoidance. It puts you into overwhelm and anxiety, but it also puts you into avoidance, and you avoid doing the things that really do need to be done in your business because they're difficult and they feel uncomfortable. So what have I already tried? What have I already tried to do about this thing that isn't working? Have I tried? So let's say you've got a product and you've tried to sell it through Facebook shops or in Instagram or, in 2 or 3 different places, and it's just not moving. So what have you tried? But what haven't you tried? What methods of sale? Do you even know what you haven't tried? Is there a gap in knowledge? Is there a skill gap there that you haven't identified? Once you start asking yourself challenging questions that feel uncomfortable, you start unpeeling the layers that will help you dive down into what the core problem is with the product or the service that you are trying to sell right now. Describe how it feels. So, write down how it feels to not be, maybe you're an artist, and I've not just got artists on my books, or an author, and your book isn't selling or your art isn't selling. And that makes you feel worthless, makes you feel demotivated. So what is it that's not working for you? But I bet whatever it is that's not working for you, you keep doing it because that's the easy route instead of doing some of the more difficult, uncomfortable things that need to be done. How long have you had this? How long have I had this problem? Ask yourself this question. How long have I had this problem? Has it been going on for a few months? It's been going on for a few years? Let's get really, really honest. When we're challenging ourselves, it's important to get really, really honest in the answers, because sometimes we go on for an awful long time. We stay in marriages for decades that are not working. We stay friends with people that are toxic. We do the same in our business because change is harder than staying the same. So when you start asking yourself challenging questions, you're uncomfortable. The answers are uncomfortable. You'll be asking them through gritted teeth, but they will move you forward better than anything else. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it for me to solve this problem, to get past this barrier right now? So say I'm taking £1,000 a month and I want to be taking £10,000 a month. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's pretty much a 10 then that I solved the problem, isn't it? Because I need to move my sales line. If I don't, I'm going to stay at £1,000 a month, and that's just going to be the same, and it's never going to get any better for me. This is why a lot of creatives stay on the poverty line, because outside of that lays difficulty, lays uncomfortable feelings, and lays challenges that are difficult to deal with. What do I want to create? What is it that I want to create? Do I know what I want to create? Do I know what my business model looks like? Do I know what the lifestyle I want looks like? Have I really got a handle on that? Ask yourself that question. Yeah. What is your vision for your life and your business? What specific results are you looking for? As I just said to you, if you're doing £1,000 a month and you want to do 10,000, that's a specific result. But if you're doing £1,000 a month actions, you're never going to get to £10,000 a month. Never going to get there. So only by challenging and questioning yourself can you even start to identify what it is you need in your business. So think about why it's important to you. What is standing in your way of reaching your goals and of dealing with these problems and obstacles that lay in your way? What will happen if you don't take action? What will happen? You're going to stay the same. If you don't take action, nothing's going to change. So what do you need the most right now? What do I need the most right now? This is a great question. What do I need the most? Is it training? Do I have a skill gap? Is it a lack of knowledge? Is it motivation I need? Okay, what is it that I need? Is it more tools to be able to do the job? Better tools, better tech to be able to do the job that needs to be done in my business? Asking these questions is going to drill you down to this question of what is it that I need right now in my business? Only when you get to that question can you start to put a plan together. And this is where you can then start to draft some goals that are very specific, that are going to solve the problems that you have in your business. So challenging yourself as an entrepreneur in a deep, meaningful way and digging down really deep to the very uncomfortable, that black area that nobody likes to dip the toe into, yet to the uncomfortable things and saying what isn't working. So let me tell you what I've had to do. I'm going to give you, I always use myself as an example, and you will probably be looking at me saying, it's okay for her. She's successful. She's got a team. She's done this. Yes, all of the above, but that does not mean when you're successful, it doesn't mean that there aren't problems that you need to deal with. In fact, me opening up another business as well as my coaching business was much bigger than I expected it to be. It took a lot more time and a lot more energy and a lot more skills than I initially thought I needed or had. And I have had to learn how to juggle a million different things and learn a whole load of new skills along the way. I've lost team members along the way. I have brought in new people. We have literally had to overhaul the whole back end of my business, my coaching business, in the last few months. In fact, over the last 2 days, I've put in 16 hours rewriting content and redoing PDFs and upgrading. And because the uncomfortable question was asked, is this worth the price tag? Because some of this content is out of date, which means that I've got to go and do a whole load of new work to bring it up to date. That's now been done. But if that question had not been asked by me or somebody else, then we would not be current and offering the very, very best service to our clients. And that's not good enough in a premium priced product. So sometimes you can be complacent in where you've reached. Even when you're successful, you can become complacent, if that makes sense, because you've got there. And actually, you've got to constantly be moving with the times and upgrading and fine-tuning and improving and changing things and updating things, no matter what it is you do. So even if you've experienced success, your success can get to a level and then you can plateau and it just continues to stay there. And then you start to wonder why, because you've gone from nothing to there and then all of a sudden straight line. That's because you're not asking the questions, the challenging questions, the ones you don't want to answer because they're uncomfortable and they're going to cause you to have to do a load of work, which is where I've been over the last few months. And you might not even have noticed or seen that. That's what's been going on behind the scenes of my breakfast. See, I told you I was tired. My business is that these questions have been asked and we are constantly upgrading. So wherever you're at, it doesn't matter if you're taking £50 a week and you want to take £500 a week. You still got to ask these questions. If you're taking £50 a week and that's one product you're selling, why can't you sell 10? What's stopping you from selling 10? What's stopping you from selling 10 is challenging yourself and asking why you're only selling one. So without asking yourself difficult questions and challenging yourself as an entrepreneur, you are setting yourself up to stay in the same zone for much longer than you need to. So that's what I wanted to bring for you tonight. If you, like I said, if you want a copy of the questions, they are literally just 20 questions. There's nothing, you could probably go and Google yourself a load of questions, but people don't. I've got them. If you want them, I'll send them to you. It doesn't cost me anything to send you that in a messenger message or on an email. And if it helps you to sit down and challenge your business and challenge where you are right now as an entrepreneur, then it's worth me spending the few seconds of sending you that document. It really is. And the 20 minutes of coming in and talking to you tonight about this, because sometimes this is not something that's taught. People talk about sales all the time. You see it all the time on your news feed. You know, everybody's telling you, you need to do this, you need to do that. You know, yes, you do. You do need to do all that stuff. But you've also got to learn to manage yourself. Learn to lead yourself in your life and your business, and learn to get past the uncomfortable to that place of excellence where you can grow and scale your business to new heights that you can't even imagine right now if you're not asking the questions. So I hope that's been useful tonight or has made you think a little. If it has, then let me know. And obviously, as always, let me know where you are in the world, whether you watched live or on replay. And thank you for listening. I will be back next Tuesday night, same time, same place. And I know I am going to be talking more about sales next week in a different way, from a different perspective. But I've just planned the content for next week. So I know I'm going to be bringing you some interesting perspectives on sales. So join me next Tuesday night at 7 p.m. because my job is to help you think in a clever way so that you can make more money. I'll see you then. Have a fabulous week. Bye for now.